for any obibiara washemi aha a Ghanatube so me mamo akwaba matna saying any na just nsem no bebre egu a etwem etiabusia for intem pass no mensem no me pese ubedi mechi na yawabotie nsem bia ekoso ewo Ghana na yaba.
Now, Volta region is the heartbeat of the National Democratic Congress, the NDC. The party has managed to win more than 80% of the region's votes since 1992. However, an analysis by Joy News Research Desk shows the region registered the lowest support for the NDC in the 2020 presidential elections, while the NPP managed to garner more votes. Isaac Kofije, our lead data research analyst, is here and has every detail regarding the region. Kofi, first tell us how the NDC dropped in vote in 15 constituencies in the Volta region.
Well, Carlos, just like you said, the Volta region is the vote bank of the NDC. It has 18 constituencies, and this year we are looking at more than 1 million registered voters who will be voting in this year's election in the Volta region. Now, if you take a look at the 7 regions that has more than 1 million registered voters, Volta region is one of them. It crossed the line this year in terms of the registration. Now, out of the 15 or the 18 constituencies in the Volta region, the NDC won them. But there were 15 constituencies that they actually dropped votes in terms of their vote share against the NPP, and that's what we'll be analyzing. But before that, let's look at how the Volta region has been voting since 1996 to the 2020 elections. And just like you see, this is a stronghold of the NDC. Why is it a stronghold? Because it's not just a place that the NDC win. When they win big. Just like you see in 1996, they won by 94.9%.
Where we represent the NDC.
The NDC, and blue is the MPP. Almost 95% of the total valid vote cast in the Volta region in 1996. But in 2000, we see there was a significant change or drop in that vote from 95 to somewhere around 87.5. And as you can see, they've always won above 80%. So if NDC is winning the Volta region, their threshold it doesn't go beyond 80%. They will definitely win above 80%. But in the 2020 general election, in terms of the presidential, something interesting happened in the Volta region that we need to tell the stories behind the numbers. What happened? We see the Volta region dropping from as high as 95% of the total valid vote cast to just, not just, I think somewhere around 80, almost 85 or 84.8. Now see, the Volta region is the NDC is on a decline in the Volta region from 91.4% in the 2012 election. That brought John Dramani Mahama to his first presidential, election win in 2012. But what we see is that right after 2012, the Volta region has been declining in terms of, the numbers from 91.4 to 87.7. Now we are talking about 84.8. So definitely this is a stronghold or a region that the NDC know they will win definitely, but they will be concerned about the drop in the vote. Not just the NDC dropping, but you can see if you look at it from the blue side, the NPP is on a good momentum. They used to get just somewhere around 4.4% of the total valid vote cast in the Volta region. Now we are talking about 14.1.
They should be
adding more than 10 percentage points since 1996. This is a stronghold of the NDC, and so if you are on a good run, on a good trajectory, or you are increasing in votes, it's something that we need to analyze and tell the story behind the numbers. But why did the NDC drop from somewhere 91.4 to 87.7 to 84.8 in the 2020 election? Let's tell the story. Now, if you look at this chart that talks about the 15 constituencies out of 18, NDC actually won all of them, but they dropped votes in 15. That's more than 80% of the constituencies in the Volta region dropped their vote or their support for the NPP. The NDC, they won all right, but they did not get, if you compare the same relative to 2016.
The 2020 election.
Exactly. Their vote share in the 2020 election relative to that of 2016 was low in 15 of them. There were 2 constituencies, Afajato South and I think one of the other constituencies that improved their vote for the NDC. But Ketu North, Ketu South, talk about all the talk about all of them. They actually dropped their support for the NDC in the 2020 general election. There was one constituency that did not change in terms of how they voted in 2016 versus how they voted in 2020. Yeah. This for me is what I was talking about. So we know of the 15 that dropped their vote for the NDC, or NDC had a decline in the share of vote. Now we decided to now glean the top 10 from that list of 15 constituencies. All right. Now that top 10, just look at it. I mean, it starts from Pando. Pando drops by 1.4 percentage points compared to 2016. Agotime dropped by 2.9. Anglo 3.4. Adaklu. These are all traditional, green belt zones for the NDCs. 4.1. Whole West 4.4. North Dai 5.2. Keta North, Ketu North. This is a big constituency for the NDC.
Course, yes,
winning exactly.
A lot of vote in this particular.
Absolutely, it's just like your Mensha South or Bantama or Bekwai in the Ashanti region for the NDC. They dropped by 5.2 percentage point. Keta itself dropped by 6.8 percentage point. What the NDC got in 2020 versus 2016. That was very significant.
Yeah, very.
Akachi North 10.4. Now the big one for me is Hohoi, where they dropped by 18.9 percentage points. Wow. Now I will show you the graph that tells the story of both Akachi North and Hohoi, and I'm sure viewers will really understand how the NDC actually dropped. This is Akachi North. Just look at it from 2012 to 2016. NDC used to get 90.1% of the total valid vote cast, as against 8.1%. That was 2012 when John Dramani Mahama came onto the ballot for the first time. Now 2020, just look at how we are seeing this.
Almost 20.
MPP has now moved from 8.1 to 19.7. Very, very significant. And as you can see, the gap was really wide in 2012 and 2016. But just like you're trying to do, very close in the 2020 election. So going into this year's election, this is the outlook for Akachi North. Akachi North, interesting, but let me show you the last one, Hohoi. And Hohoi, we are trying to look at it from 1996 because this is a traditional constituency in the Volta region. Very interesting. And just like Akachi North, Hohoi is predominantly NDC. But the story is that as of 1996, they used to give NDC 94.3% of the total valid vote cast, as against 5.1% for the MPP. Now the story is changing. The reason why we are saying Volta region, some of the constituencies are becoming less green, is because of the drop in some of these numbers. 94.3. Now we are talking about 69.4.
That's huge.
Huge drop. Now just look at, in just 2 election periods, NDC drops from 82.5 to 69.5, losing more than 10 percentage points. In fact, close to 20 percentage points. That is really significant. Not just the NDC on a decline, but see what is happening at the blue side. You can see MP exactly. Almost. It's there already. 30% in the previous election, which is the 2020 election. They've been able to move from 5.1% of the vote cast to 29.8. And as you can see, the gap is really closing in Hohoi. I don't know the magic they are doing there, but it's Akachi North, Akachi South, Hohoi are all interesting places or constituencies that we are really looking at in the upcoming election. And so, I mean, if you're looking at the Volta region, it's still the vote bank of the NDC. They hold that constituency, but the story the data is trying to
figure
exactly is that it's not the same as let's say as it used to be 1996. Absolutely. And this for me is interesting going into this year's election. Carlos.
Thank you so much. Isaac Kofioje is with our research desk.
You are here for an for me. I must pass and would image in your cotier in summer. Or my gun one day, and I will can't find some for comments. No, have a comment section. Now making Kayamo Ghanatube Sunny or Duffo Snowy and Sunny. I was for Cincinnati, Macron.